Welcome again into this beautiful episode. It's my YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, I do believe that God has always been very, very graceful to me, handing over visitors and people to come over and encourage us, especially young adults, people who are having that desire to progress in life, in fear of God, in the desire to know more about the great things of God. And today, with me, is no person I can be able to even have words to express how grateful I am to even have time to talk with. He is the president of the Kenyan community in Calgary, and above everything, he was a great friend and somebody I can call a friend with great desires to say that is just immaculate and in amazing way how God has brought us together right now. But we are coming over to actually have a very, very, very important topic today. Now, you are out there, you are wondering now, or you are putting your thoughts to say, I'm going to migrate, move over to overseas, developed countries, and you are wondering, I'm going to see those trees where you can pluck out money, or opportunities that are in America, or North America, or England, Australia. That is exactly how everybody has. But today we're going to have to break down some of the few challenges that we come across and some of the things that are very important for you and I to know. And for those people who are abroad also, I would like to also encourage you, because I know that the talk that we shall have here is fire. So thank God that God has given us a great man, great experience, very high contribution to the Kenyan community in this northern part of America. And I do believe that today you will see, or you will hear to yourself, some of the most important things. So, Mr. Wycliffe, welcome. Yeah, so I think I would first of all ask you kindly to introduce yourself, because I know you, but maybe majority of the people.
Yes, my name is Wycliffe Isaiah Mola Oduo, and glad to be here. Thank you, Pastor, for giving us this chance to have this great conversation with one another and with you too. So, welcome on board.
Thank you so much. We'd like to begin to know that. Where did you go to school? How did you graduate? And because that is what made you to become who you are.
Who I am.
And
yes, most of my schooling I did out in Kenya, and then moved out here to study on evangelism, which is something that I was very passionate about. And thereafter, then I took on other courses that would help me put food on the table.
Yeah, I think that's very, very common to majority of us living. Even us, as I am a pastor, I have a side job. We always do have something to keep up, because the majority of the expense and bills, you definitely have to have something to do.
Yes.
But the most important thing that brought me, and actually we would like to speak so much, is you have seen majority of immigrants.
Yes.
And you have come across some of the challenges, because you as a leader of the community, we come to you and we tell you about the challenges. Which are some of the major challenges in your understanding that you would say this is the most serious challenge that people, when they are abroad or they are in America, in Canada, in Australia, this is something that you have to equip yourself for?
Well, yeah, I always think of it this way, that the biggest challenge is to decide to come. Now, many times that could be an afterthought, but it is a decision that will stick with you every single day of your life out here. And when I say that, it's not as easy as I may make it sound, because you wake up in the morning in a strange land. The weather is not as friendly or accommodating as it is out back home. Somewhere that you were born and you grew up, and you understand how everything works, how the wind blows, which direction. So here you start off with the weather challenges, you continue with food challenges. I remember when I first came here, even just getting a comb, to straighten my hair was a challenge. So every single thing you choose to do is a challenge. And not only that, then you have the challenge of the way things are out here in terms of the way you socialize. Back home, we are used to socializing, and it's an open concept. You meet somebody, you wave at them. Out here, it's a little bit challenging because unless you know a person, it's not easy for them to wave or smile back at you. So you have to live with that on a daily basis, knowing that you may end up with a day when maybe you've only greeted two or three people. So it's a challenge. And and then work, right? At home, that one job. Yeah, here you might end up balancing more than a job, right? You're always on the move, and that's how people struggle. We sacrifice time, we sacrifice opportunities, we sacrifice every single other thing just to make it in.
Absolutely. Now, you just mentioned something about the challenge of the call, but I remember when I made my first ugari,
Yes.
I boiled the water,
Yeah.
I had a cooking flour, but I didn't have the mwiko. I had to go around and kind of implement something.
Yes.
And you just take those small little things for granted. But now they go a little more deeper than that, because there are activities of daily living, like you say, not even having a good orientation with your neighbor. Say, for example, I have neighbors that I can tell, I know their cars,
Yes.
but I don't know them.
You don't know them.
Yeah, I see maybe somebody one or twice, I can see somebody walk his dog,
Yes.
and they are my immediate neighbors.
Yeah.
But I can't tell who they are, and that's a big old challenge. But now the challenge goes a little bit more deeper.
Yeah.
Because when you think about us as a Kenyan community,
Yeah.
and we have come here, given our life, and we are supposed to be together, one of the other things that I've seen is that we begin to divide and separate. We what do we make out of that? Because let me give you an example. I walked to this Kenyan and I said to him, "Are we going to a Kenyan church? Can we go to a Kenyan church?" And he said straight to my face, "I don't go to Kenyan churches."
Yes. Yeah.
What do you make out of that? What kind of makes people, when they come over here, so graceful? Yeah.
Yeah, and that happens at times when we are out here because of the everyday challenges that we face or hardship. You kind of veer off from God and the Word, and so you need to overcome that. And many times people want to identify with other things other than church, right? Because that is the most common out in Calgary. They'll tell you they'll openly say their religion is hockey. So you get to hear that, and so they choose not to identify. But again, I think with time you break that, if we can reach out to them. But yes, that's a very dividing thought that creeps into our mind. But again, that's the work of the enemy. The enemy's work is to divide us, right? And we can easily get into that.
And also that bothers me because in my kind of thought, I know Kenyans sometimes when we have problems, we come together.
Yeah.
They chip in and they help and
Yes.
they help each other. But when we come to the little matters of life whereby I'm supposed to open up about myself,
Yes.
because majority of them are locking themselves behind doors and
Yeah.
abusing alcohol because of stress,
Yes,
because of
stress.
depression and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And I wonder, how can we work it out? You in the community, what can we work it out to, bring this community, to bring ourselves together and say, all right, now, the time has come and this is supposed to be done.
Yes.
What can we do? Because I would ask myself this, are we, the people who are veterans, who have been in the country or abroad for many years, are we long examples to the ones who are coming, or?
But that we have to make an effort. The one thing that I've found that works, if you call somebody by name, you already push them further.
Okay.
But that is the culture here.
Mhm.
People get called by name.
Mhm.
But then I've also noticed if you use another term other than name,
Mhm.
it either draws them closer or it pushes them further.
Mhm.
So there's a Swahili term called ndugu.
Mhm.
You call somebody a brother,
Mhm.
they feel welcomed. For the first time they hear somebody say,
Mhm.
you are family.
Mhm.
But when you call them Peter,
Mhm.
all they hear, they get called Peter by every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I found to break those barriers, we gotta resort to what we used to do back growing together as
Mhm.
there was the family, and so we used terms that were used within the family to
Mhm.
bring people closer to us.
Mhm.
And so I find that works, especially with those we don't know. The moment I meet them, I say, hey brother, where are you from?
Oh wow.
And they are openly, the moment you call them a brother, you see the response in them.
Yeah.
And that is anchored also in the word. That we are all brothers and sisters
Oh,
in
absolutely,
Christ
yeah.
Jesus.
Mhm.
And so, that helps.
And that just reminds me about Martin Luther King saying we're not supposed to judge people based on the color of their skin, their last name, their
Yes.
tribes, or all those kind of stuff, but based on their character.
Yes.
And I do believe that we also have our tribal cocoons.
Yes.
And I think that has also been a challenge. It's been a challenge in the United States so much.
Yeah.
And I know it's still possibly a challenge in Canada and other parts of the world, possibly in
Yes.
Europe, I think it is. But how can we overcome this? This is like cancer in Africa, in Kenya,
Africa.
especially, yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and the truth is, whatever happens back home also has some form of impact on us out here in the way we relate with one another again. But also, there are times when we show up, when people are really at their lowest moments, when they are bereaved, when they are celebrating the life of a loved one, and when you reach out to them and they see, they don't see the tribal cocoons that we belong to, but they start seeing family members reaching out to them, and that really helps. There are things that neighbors used to do back home that we can always pick up and do out here when they visit one another and just for fellowship and also bring something, right? And that really makes a big difference in the lives of people. I've seen we grew when we celebrated with one another, when we cried on each other, we had shoulders to lean on. We visited those that were not known to us, and we followed up later on. And then by calling, by sending messages, by wishing them well, and so that helps. It helps, and the word of God is pregnant, and it will bear forth
fruits, and it will
fruits
bring generations
yes.
of others.
Yeah.
The reason we came over to this country is to make a better life for ourselves,
Yes.
and maybe for our nice, good, beautiful children.
Yeah.
But now here's the punchline here. We still, I think, have responsibilities back at home, even though we are abroad.
Yes.
And there is that divided loyalty, and I'm sure that is one of the things that is challenging Africans living abroad. Because one of the things is you begin to invest in Africa, nobody's taking care of the investment. Sometimes you go there, you get a whole heck of a disappointment.
Yes.
At the same time, when you are here, there is all those kind of challenges of discrimination, working two full-time jobs.
Yeah.
What do you make out of that? What is our contribution back in Africa, or back in Kenya, for example?
Yeah, that's tough because one thing I find challenging is going back to home and trying to tell people what you think. I find that is not progressive. We have to help our family members and our brothers and sisters back home to take ownership. Now that ownership also means, you see, somebody, the Chinese have a proverb, and it says that teach a man to fish, and you will have, give a man fish, and you will have fed him for the day. Teach a man how to fish, and you will have fed him for the rest of his life. Now, where we are at now, here in Canada, we should not stop there, but let's teach them how to fish such that they accumulate a surplus which they can sell. And not only will you have fed them for the rest of their lives, but you will have changed their lives in ways and means that is not related to fishing. And that is what we need to that is how we need to approach things there. Let them take the ownership that they are in a situation, admit and accept. And then let's teach them how to fish, not just to feed themselves, but to have a surplus that they can go and sell. Yeah, and that can come in various ways. They can identify resources that is there. We can help and build structures for them to explore these resources, but let them have an input in there.
Wow.